Hello traders, it is Sunday, March 17th, and I want to make you aware of a very important change at One Option. The Option Stalker platform is fantastic for day trading, but I've underemphasized how effective it is for swing trading. So what I've done is I've split the subscriptions in two. The chat room used to be included in the Option Stalker subscription. Some of you may only want the chat room if you're active day traders. The Option Stalker platform itself is offered for $3.99 per quarter, and the chat room is offered for $1.99 per quarter. So I've separated the two in hopes of attracting more swing traders. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be producing a video every Wednesday night. Thursday is my favorite trading day of the week, so it's appropriate for me to do a Wednesday night swing trading video. I will use the platform to try and narrow down to two, maybe three very solid swing trades. So this morning I'm going to do a free video for everyone, and you'll be able to take advantage of these picks and see how they turn out. And then what I'll be doing in the future is I'll record on Wednesday night. The following Wednesday I'm going to review the trades from the prior week, and I'm going to release that prior video on YouTube so that everyone can see how effective it is. This platform is so easy to use, so let's get started. Let's find a couple of swing trades for this week. I'm going to minimize the window, and this is what the Option Stalker platform would look like when you log in. Real-time data is included in the subscription price. Since most of you will be doing end-of-day trading and analysis, it won't really make that much of a difference, but if you log in during the day, you'll be able to see intraday data on these 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute time frames. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click Scanner in the upper left-hand corner, and then I'm going to click Bullish. And the reason I'm going to do that is because the market is moving higher. And I'm going to select one search called Pop Bull. This is a canned search. This is one of my favorite swing trading searches. You might not need anything more than this. This is the S&P 500, and you can see how we sold off hard last December. We've had a nice tight rally up to major horizontal resistance, and now we're breaking through this 281 level. You'll also notice that the system does have buy and sell signals. There's a buy signal right there, there's a sell signal right there, there's a buy signal right there. So the trading system is included in the platform. So market first, market first, market first. That's where all of our analysis starts, and right now we have to favor the bullish side because we've had this major horizontal breakout. That's why I selected Pop Bull. I'm not going to be looking at bearish trades because we need to focus on the long side. What I'll be doing is I'll be clicking through these symbols. I know because I trade actively which ones have good liquidity and which ones don't. So out of this list, we're going to pick ones that have very good option liquidity. That's not to say that there aren't some other good stock picks in here. There very well could be. So I like to put up an indicator of mine, and all of my indicators are listed along the bottom. Now there are hundreds that you can select from. You'll see them all listed here. Pretty much any indicator you'd ever want to use is in the platform, but I have some proprietary ones that I've made it very easy to use. For instance, SMA. I'm going to overlay a 200-day moving average and a 100-day moving average. See how easy it was to put those on the chart? If I don't want to see them anymore, toggle on, toggle off. So I'm going to go back in and put the 200-day and the 100-day up. And what this Pop Bull search does, in particular, it's looking for compressions and long-term horizontal breakouts. I love those patterns because they are a compression. It's like a spring that's been coiled tighter and tighter. And when that spring finally releases, the stock has a tendency to break out and to have follow-through. Follow-through is the most critical part of option trading because if you just get the breakout and the stock stalls, time decay is going to be a factor for you. So most of these candidates would be excellent call buying opportunities, or you could simply buy the underlying stock. And when we narrow down our pick, I'm going to give you an entry, I'm going to give you an exit and a target price, and I'll also give you a stop price. So, for instance, we can look at the first stock. I don't know what this is. It's probably not that liquid. You can see it's run up a lot. Very choppy at the top here. Probably a biotech company. I'm going to go down to the first one that I do know, which is ULTA, Alta. This is a really nice chart. Here you can see the horizontal breakout through resistance. We love these. It compresses here. The A means that there was earnings announcement after the close on Thursday. Obviously, the market liked that announcement and the volume was very heavy. So I'm also going to toggle on this little volume icon because this will show me how the stock's volume compares to the 20-day moving average. And here you can see a huge volume spike on a move higher. That's good. That means this stock is very, very likely to continue to move higher. The options on Alta are not very liquid, so I'm going to move on. I do like it as a stock play, and when you have these gaps higher like this, they tend to backfill just a little bit, and then when they finally find support on that backfill, they take off. And we want that stock to stay above this opening price on the gap. We don't want it to come into the gap because then it has a chance of retracing all the way back to this breakout. So I'm going to put a GTC alert right here just above that breakout. In the event that someday the stock comes back to that level, I might be interested in buying it because if it finds support there, that next leg higher is going to be very, very good. I'm also going to put an alert GTC right here, and finally I'll put one right in the middle of this candle because that's usually where these stocks tend to retrace. So this is a good till cancel alert. It could pop up tomorrow. It could pop up in a week. It could pop up in a month. In any event, when I log into the platform, I'm going to see a pop-up dialog box that says, hey, a alert condition has been met. Do you want to see the stock? You click OK, and it'll take you right to the stock so that you can do your review. Very, very effective for swing trading because as you're doing your analysis after hours, you're able to click this GTC alert, drop the line, and a stock that might not quite be set up for trading right now could be very, very attractive in a week or two. And you'll get that pop-up alert and you'll be able to take action. So we're going to set a number of different alerts on this one in hopes that it pulls back. AVGO, similar type of setup, really nice breakout here, not the compression that we had in Alta. I prefer to have that compression, a horizontal compression like this right here versus one where the stock has pulled back and gapped through. Doesn't mean that this isn't a good candidate. It very well could be. I'm going to set an alert on this and I'll put it right below that opening price from Friday. It also gapped higher on earnings. It also had very good volume. I'm going to add one other indicator. It's called 1OSI, one option strength indicator or strength index. And 10 is the default. That's fine. That's 10 periods. When the orange line is below 0, it's bearish. When the line is above 0, it's bullish. So obviously we want lines that are above 0. In this case, it is. So we want it to stay above 0. When we have a line that is above 0 and we have a buy signal, we want to stay in the trade as long as both conditions hold true. So here we've got a green buy signal and we have the line above 0. So we would stay in that trade pretty much till right about the sell signal, which is right in here. There you can see it's starting to turn negative, and that's a very nice gain. So the system will tell you when to get in and when to get out. So similarly, you could go short the stock right here as well, since it has relative weakness, and that would have turned out to be a good trade also. Obviously, we don't like to hold over earnings announcements because there's a lot of risk in the position if we do that. So this would have also been a nice short, but given that the market is moving higher, we don't really want to be on the short side. We always want to have a tailwind. And I'm going to click another indicator that you can use, again, along the bottom, toggle on, toggle off, and this is the S&P 500. You can see how strong the market has been. So even though we have a sell signal here, we don't want to be looking for shorts. We want to be looking for longs. We want that tailwind working in our favor. I'm going to toggle it off. It's simply labeled SPY. So let's move on. AVGO looks good. I'd like to get a little bit of a pullback. On this particular stock, I'm also going to put an alert above the close. So now it's bracketed. If the stock continues to move higher right away, I will be alerted. I'll be able to enter the trade. If I were going to take a position in a stock like this, and it was going to continue to march higher after earnings, let's say I get the alert and it continues higher, my stop would be this lower end of this green bar. That's how I stop the trade out. I would also stop it out if it started to have relative weakness. The orange line goes below zero. Or if I got a red sell signal from the system on it. So there are three things that will tell us if we should still be in the trade or not and when to take profits on it. That's the beauty of Option Stalker. It finds the trades for you, and then it helps you manage the entry and the exit. We'll keep going down. Dell I recognize. Everybody knows Dell Computer. You can see earnings right here, and the stock tries to move higher and it retraces. So it couldn't quite get through that horizontal resistance level, but in the last 2 days, it has broken out. Excuse me. So I like Dell. I don't like it excuse me, quite on the high, but I very much would like to buy any kind of dip in here. And you can see the tail of this candle right here. I'd be interested right at that $59 price point. So we're going to wait for an alert to come up. YUMC, love this. This is a beautiful horizontal resistance level. It did not gap higher on earnings. It just gapped higher because of buying interest in the underlying stock. So there, I am going to put an alert right at the top of this resistance level and hope that the stock pulls back for me. If the stock does pull back for me, my stop is going to be the opening of this long green bar, which is around the 41.40 level. Really, really nice. You can see the relative strength. You can see the big volume. So this is a legitimate breakout. I like YUMC. I'm going to be watching it to see what it does on Monday. So this will be one of the picks. I like this. Also, if you wanted to put up a compression indicator, it's 1.0 squeeze is what I call it. And you can see that it was compressing, and the green dot shows that not only did it compress, but it broke out of the compression. Normally you will see yellow dots, which means that it is in a compression, and a red dot would mean that it's broken below that compression. So we've got a green dot that's good. We've got a nice breakout, relative strength above the 200-day and 100-day moving averages. This is a really nice looking candidate, YUMC. I'm not very concerned about fundamentals because I use technicals extensively. I'm not in this for a year or two. I'm in this for a week or two. I just want that momentum to continue once I have the breakout. And the gains could be very, very nice. Could be 5 or 10% if you're trading the stock. Could be 100% or more if you're trading call options. TXN, Texas Instruments, really nice compression right in here. Horizontal resistance, really nice breakout, good volume, nice relative strength. This is another one I really like. So I'm going to drop my GTC line right in here, right at the prior high, and I'm going to move one a little bit higher on it as well. I want to have multiple chances at catching this, and I will put one right on the high as well, just to remind me to take a look at it Monday, because it'll probably poke through there. I'll get my alert on Monday, and then I'll know that I need to go take a look at this stock and keep an eye on it. You can see that the stock has been pretty choppy, so this is not a favorite candidate of mine, because you can see this drop here and lots of random price movement. Ideally, what we want is nice, orderly price movement. And I think we could see that in Dell better than the other candidates so far. This is what we want. This is fantastic, beautiful price movement. You see the red sell arrow here? You might think, oh, look, it gave us a sell signal right here. The system doesn't work. No, look, we were above the zero line in terms of relative strength. So you would not take a position in this stock until it were below if you had a red arrow. And you want them to coincide, be very close in terms of time frame. So here you've got weeks have passed before it finally dips below that zero line. So you would not take a sell signal like that. You would focus on the buy side. LITE, fairly choppy stock, fills in the gap here through horizontal resistance here. So this looks really good. It just broke through the 200-day moving average. You can see here that it's got very good relative strength. I like this one. And I would put an alert just above the high from Friday. So if Monday the stock continues to move higher, I'm going to know about it. And the reason that I like this right here and right now is because it's through that 200-day moving average. Not great options liquidity on this one, but the stock does move well. So we'll continue to look down. NOK, Nokia, too choppy for me. Don't care for it. This is actually really nice. I'm not familiar with this stock, ENLC, but I can click stock ER, and this will tell me exactly what they do. Okay, so they're a oil limited partnership, but very, very nice breakout here. Nice relative strength, good little volume pop here, right through that horizontal resistance. Not quite through that horizontal resistance level, so this is good. Because we haven't had the breakout yet, I'm going to drop a GTC alert line right there. If it gets through, yes, I certainly would take that trade. We're through the 100-day moving average with lots of room till the 200-day moving average, so this trade would make sense. It's not a big mover though. It's something that you can buy and hang on to for a month or two. You can see that once it does start to trend, it tends to follow that trend, so the price action's good once we get the breakout. I personally prefer stocks that move a little bit more quickly. So I'll know about it. I'll be able to look at it. I'll let chat room subscribers know if it does break out. It might be a good candidate for us. This is nice. Zimmer Holdings. Again, pretty nice price action. Orderly. We want predictability, and we get that from nice, orderly price action. This stock is just about to break out. It did make a big move on Friday, so it might be a little bit overextended because it doesn't make big moves like that. It tends to just peck away at the ask and move higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an alert on it just above that high. And you can see how that's also, I'm going to scroll back a little bit. You can see that's a pretty good little resistance level right in there. But it does have resistance just a little bit higher as well. So not my favorite candidate per se, because it's still got to get through this 132 level for me to be really interested. I can zoom out. There's my longer term viewpoint of it. So even if it gets through this It's still got some upside resistance here, so not crazy about it. I just clicked the minus sign on the magnifying glass. To return to a normal view, I'm going to click the blank magnifying glass, and I'm right back to square one. So ZBH, interesting, not my favorite. This is pretty choppy, but I do like the upward trend. POD, that is a biotech. There's another cell phone, ERIC, Ericsson. ADI, pretty nice coming up here. Kind of compressing right now, though. It may need time to compress even more. MS, this is Morgan Stanley. The financials have been really quite weak for a long time. They've been weak relative to the market, but you can see here how we are starting to get some relative strength on the back end. So it might be time for financials to move a little bit higher. So let's zoom out and see what the stock has done long term. There you can see this big downward trend line. And we can draw that in if we'd like, and you'll see what I mean from this point down. Drop it across the highs here, and the stock is just through that downward trend line. It still has room to the 200-day moving average, so that might not be a bad candidate for us. I'd like to see it through this horizontal resistance level, so I'm going to remove this trend line now that I know where it lies. Delete object, and to draw that trend line, I just clicked on this trend line tool right here, and I'm going to put a horizontal alert right above this bar. That's where I'd like to see the stock get, and it would still have some room before it gets to the 200-day. It's got $1. That's not a bad percentage return on that stock. Keep going down. EW, didn't see much I like there. ADP, nice horizontal breakout, not great volume. Excuse me, good volume. We see that spike right here, but not great relative strength. So it's pretty much been following the market. Campbell Soup, CDW, computer stock. We already saw that Dell was strong, so computer stocks are doing pretty well here. Big, deep trough rally, kind of compresses, consolidates those gains. Let's zoom out on it and see what it's got for us. Pretty choppy. Not my favorite type of chart. This has very nice orderly price action. And so I'm going to take a look at what this is. Semiconductor. So that's in tune with the computer sector doing well, and we'll zoom out on that. I would need to be pretty careful on a stock like this, because when I see tight price compression like this, it oftentimes tells me that this stock might be a takeover, and that this is the takeover price after a big gap, and that it's flatlining. So now they're just waiting for the deal to go through. So I would not trade that unless I knew that there was not a takeover in the making. AFL, this is an insurance company. That's nice. We've got our relative strength right here. It's been actually quite good. We have a nice pop here. I like this. Good horizontal breakout. Definitely would be a stock that I'm looking at. Zoom out, see what the longer term picture looks like. Choppy, typically. Recently, getting some pretty nice upward price movement. And we're almost through our list. And DHR, this is nice, and this is the type of formation that you're going to get out of these big gaps. I had mentioned to you earlier how we want a bit of a retracement. You can see here the gap higher, then it gaps again. Now it compresses and it starts to test the bid. And you'll have some people who've been long the stock from in here taking advantage of this move higher, and they're profit taking, and that's why you get a little bit of a dip. But on this next move higher, this is when you really start to gain some momentum. I like DHR a lot. In fact, This would be one of my uh, favorite plays right now. We're going to zoom out and see what the longer term looks like. So got some pretty big swings in here and a nice breakout. And then there's your big gap higher. Let's take a look at what the company does. They design, manufacture medical, industrial, commercial products. And here you can read about it and find out more. So uh, really nice looking chart though. And we're going to go back to the normal view. Out of everything that we've looked at so far today, I've got a few that I would really be interested in taking a position in. One that I would say I would be taking a look at for sure is YUMC. We'll zoom out one more time to get the longer term view. It's been chopping around for a while, but working its way higher and higher up to this breakout here. That is a major horizontal breakout for the stock. And it looks poised to continue to grind higher. So that's one that I would be taking a position on. So let's outline the game plan on it. We'd like to buy it right in this 42.50 level, right on that prior high, which was the breakout. And the stock we know is a bit choppy, so it moves higher and lower. We'd want to buy it on that breakout, and our stop would be very tight at 41.40, so we'd want to be out. Once the stock continues to move higher, and we've got some profits in the trade, then we can move our stop up to this horizontal line right here, and let's call that about a $42 stop right in here. Once the stock moves higher than that, we would start going with a red arrow to get us out, or if the stock loses its relative strength and it becomes relatively weak and this dips below zero, we would exit on that as well. So those are your marching orders for the exit on this. So we're going to be trying to buy it right here around this $42 level, right at the breakout. We'll use 41.40 for the stop. And for our target and our exit, we're going to be following the green arrow, and we'll be following the volume. So we'll be taking a look at this Wednesday when I record my next video to see what actually happened. And the other one that I really, there were two others I liked. I liked the price action on Dell as well. Very, very tight price action. Get a little bit of a dip and bam, it doesn't dip very long. Buyers aggressively come in and push this stock to a new high. So we're using this as our buy area, which is $59. We want to buy at $59. If we're able to do so, we're going to use the lower end of this green candle, this breakout right here. $58 would be our stop on it, and we'll use the same exit strategy. If we get a red arrow, or if it loses its relative strength, then we're going to exit the trade. So very, very easy to manage, but I like that as well. And we'll take a look at Texas Instruments. Looks good, but I'm not going to include it as one of our picks just because of how choppy it's been in here. But certainly I'd be interested on that breakout. I'd be interested if it retraces. I want to be watching this stock on Monday. It has good liquidity for the options, and you can see how this sector is performing well. You've got Texas Instruments, you've got Dell, you've got CDW, all in the computer space. So this is a very hot area right now. It's performing well relative to the market, so this is where we want to be. LITE is also a computer stock. I'm going to put up the stock. You can see it sells optical and commercial lasers. So this could also be a play, but simply because it still has to break out above that $54 level, I'm not going to include it. Our two trades in this particular video are going to be buying Dell and buying YUMC. I'm going to follow up on these trades on Wednesday. That's how I'll start my video. We're going to take a look at those, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to try and find some other candidates. The analysis is so easy. If you're a swing trader, this shouldn't take you more than 10 or 15 minutes a night. And I haven't even showed you my custom search engine. which is so incredibly powerful. It's binary. There's no programming. You simply pick the time frame that you want to use. So for swing trading, we're going to be looking mainly at 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour time frames. We could even look at daily time frames. When we day trade, we're looking pretty much at 5-minute or 15-minute or both. But for swing trading, we're really trying to expand that time horizon. There's no programming. You pick which indicator you'd like to use, which side of the market you want to be on, and there's just a ton of other things that you can mark off. Once you have your search working the way that you'd like, you save it, you name it, and you add a description. I'm going to click on My Searches, which is where your searches will appear, and you can see I've got a couple in here, uh, and then you can see the candidates that fit that particular criteria. And if I ever wanted to, I could click on Edit, and it will show me the criteria that I used to configure that particular search. So in this case, I was just doing a demonstration of how to set it up, and you can see the only criteria I have are liquid options and both strong relative to the market on a 15-minute and a 5-minute basis. But in future weeks, I'm going to show you how easy it is to configure this so that you can really zero in on the types of stocks that you like and the patterns that you like, so that when you come in to do your end of day analysis, this should take 5 or 10 minutes. Click, click, click through some of the candidates and you're set. Come in, drop your GTC lines down on the chart so that you get alerts when you log in the next time, and you're set. You know when to buy, and all of the indicators are toggle on, toggle off. Super, super easy to use by design. So that's the end of today's tutorial. Watch YUMC, watch Dell. I think they'll be good candidates for us at the beginning of the week. The market will probably take a little bit of a pause. We had a really big quadruple witching rally last week, and I think that some of those gains are going to be consolidating. So I'm not looking for us to fuel and power higher this week. I think we're going to compress. The news is very light. We've got an FOMC meeting. Most of that news should be old hat. The Fed officials have been very, very vocal, so I'm not expecting any surprises. I'm certainly not expecting the FOMC statement to be a huge market catalyst, but momentum will float the market higher. Thank you. Hope to see you on Wednesday.